Hi, I'm Al Goff.
And I'm Miles Miller.
Hi, this is John Schneider.
Hi, it's John Glover.
This is Justin Hartley.
This is Steve the Knight.
This is Aaron Ashmore.
This is Cassidy Freeman, and you are listening to Starkville.
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 Starkville, House of L.
Starkville, House of L.
Starkville, House of L.
The podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Starkville's House of L. This is our episode. Well, this is not our... I get so used to saying this is our episode for the Smallville episode, but really this is our episode for our episode. I'm Derek, and joining me today is I still love saying webmaster. Go back to the old days of it. Webmaster Craig Byrne of KryptonSite.com, my partner in crime for the past few days. Craig, how you doing?
Hello, sir. Good to see you again.
Good to see you.
What, been like 3 days?
Good to see you. Yeah, what are we, 72 hours out? So we were going to get together. I kind of wanted to do this at the convention, and just we didn't have time. My God, we were all over the place. But Craig and I were honored. I don't want to speak for you. I'll say honored. You can use whatever adjective you want to use, but I was honored to just to be there, just to be invited to be at the convention, but ultimately co-hosting and emceeing the entire weekend together was, I think I told you, I know I told Tom and Michael on stage Friday night, if you had told me 20 years ago we'd be doing this, I would have called you a liar.
Yeah, it was surreal. Like, exactly what you said. Like, I never saw an opportunity like that to come. I mean, I've always said that if anything could ever get me to like moderate or anything like that again, it would be Smallville, because I'm very comfortable with those people.
Yeah.
But I thought you and I made such great like partners on stage. I thought we complemented each other well, and the notion that you and I have known each other for 20 years, I think, helped matters as well.
Which is weird to think about, you know. And it's honestly, it's a little pull back the curtain. It's a little odd. We're doing this today at the time of this recording, which will probably be the time of release, is the 20th anniversary of Christopher Reeve's passing. I think I know where I was when I heard the news, when I read the news. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure I read it on Krypton site.
You did read it on Krypton site,
but like I'm pretty sure I saw, like I learned about it from Krypton site. Like I'm pretty sure that's where I got the news from that he had passed was by logging on to the website for the day.
Yeah, it was before social media was really a thing.
Yeah.
But I was actually staying in Ocean City, Maryland at the time, visiting my mom, not far from Salisbury, where we would do the memory walk with John Glover.
Oh yeah, just a couple of years later.
And I just remember my mom coming into the room, and like I'm the one that broke the news to Alan Miles.
Oh wow. Okay, well that doesn't make me feel like I missed out as much. Because true, I mean obviously no social media, but I mean there was Facebook, and that was it, and that was in its infancy, and I was just in college, which is the reason I had an account. But you know, outside of watching 24-hour news cycle, where do you hear that from unless somebody else has heard and already told you? So I'm fairly certain, just an auspicious occasion today to think about that, but I'm pretty sure I read it on KryptonSite.com for the first time. So that's wild to me. And standing up there this past weekend in New Jersey was wild with you. We got in Friday night. Everything seems like a blur at this point. Friday night, yeah, and all day Saturday and all day Sunday. Just the fine people at Creation Entertainment, and I can't say enough nice things about them and what they did for you and me, and how we were treated and handled through the weekend. I thought they just went above and beyond, not just for us, but obviously for the talent there as well. Tom and Michael were there. We've already mentioned that. Erica Durant, Kristen Crook, and also Aaron Ashmore and Laura Vandervoort and John Glover. And I mean, again, pinch me. You know, it was just crazy. And the thing is, we're journalists. You know, we've both worked for newspapers. We've both interviewed people of this caliber all over the years. I'm not one to get starstruck or anything. Like they're people like we are. But the situation of of where we were and the audience and you know, covering the show for so long, it was so hard. It was still hard not to feel a little like, what are we doing here? Like, this doesn't feel like we're supposed to be part of this. You know, I consider us both ambassadors for the show because the two of us have been covering it longer than anybody else, and you certainly longer than I have. I mean, your Superman coverage goes back to Lois and Clark.
Well,
being on
the
the
thing
air.
for me was I really appreciated, number one, the cast treated us like we were part of the team.
Yeah.
Like we had always been there. And I think that really helped us both in doing our thing because there was no like weird tension that they don't know us and they don't know what to expect from us.
Right.
I thought that was great. And, you know, I feel like even over the weekend, the people we weren't as familiar with, we kind of developed a rapport with.
Yeah.
Where we could kind of razz them a little bit or whatever when we're on stage. But the biggest takeaway I got from the event, from the cast, but also all of the fans who, you know, managed to go to this event, was love.
Yeah.
Everybody who was there loved Smallville.
Yeah.
And it's actually kind of different from fandom 20 years ago where you had the shippers fighting all the time.
It was a very positive space to be in.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I think I told Tim that runs our social media, who sadly was not able to join us this weekend, and I hate that he missed out. But I told him I think the only thing really negative I heard is somebody got mad at one of my trivia questions during the trivia contest on stage and kind of threw their yes/no sheet at me. But we could talk about that in a minute.
The trivia was fun too.
Yeah, we got to host the cosplay contest on stage. We got to host the trivia contest. There was evidently going to be karaoke, but I think that ended up getting cut, and I'm far better at judging that than I am participating in that. Trust me.
Well, they should have karaoke in the next one, hosted by Tess and Dr. Emil.
I did let out a "How do we do" on stage.
Yeah,
I had to for Steve Glosson. I felt I would be remiss had I not, because I did. You're talking about love, and I'd even. I tested the waters a little bit during our intros and outros. I wanted to make sure we were among the right like-minded people. So I did poll the audience for shippers. I wanted to know who was on what team, and
nobody cheered for Schlark. Maybe because you call it Clark.
I see. I do it in the back of the throat. I've always done it like a Clark. You know, I've always put that hard HR on it. But I did pull for Tess and Emil and got several shout outs for that.
And I shouted out Tess and Lois, and there were a few in the front row who supported that. I was like, yes.
Good to see.
Yeah, like with the shippers, that's the other thing that's kind of interesting compared to 20 years ago, because like if this had been 20 years ago, somebody said they were like a Klana fan, the Clovis people would have given them stink eye and vice versa.
I mean, that was the era of television we were in, and I guess that still goes on today. I mean, I know like when the Arrowverse was happening, I was not at all really involved in any of that. But well, I'm just saying it's still a factor today. But I think it was good to see. I think the first thing I said Saturday morning when we hit the stage. I asked for a show of hands in the audience, and I keep forgetting to ask what the size audience that was, but I mean, that was a huge ballroom we were in. I mean, that was, I mean, it wasn't like Hall H at Comic-Con, but it was definitely like Ballroom 20, I'd say. I mean, it was
I thought it was
size.
funny because before the event, I was kind of nervous. Like, I hope I'm going to be okay on stage. And yes, I was a little nervous the first couple of panels, just worried that I was going to say the wrong thing. But what really, like, being in front of all those people did not bother me at all.
Yeah.
Like, no, I think it's because there was so much love, but also there was like, you know, so much light that you couldn't really see the entire audience.
I grew up on the theater stage. That helps you infinitely. If you can't see them, you really can't. But I did ask for the house lights up just briefly, and I wanted to know. You know, first off, I said, who's been here since October 16th, 2001? It's crazy to think we're coming up on. In just a few days, we were coming up on the 23rd anniversary of this series. But that was the first question I asked. I said, I want to know how many of you have been here since day one. And, I mean, a great number of them. I said, I want to know how many of you hopped on board during the run of the show between 2001 and 2011. And a great, you know, number of them too. And then I said, I really want to hear those of you that have come to love it and know it since it's been off the air. Like, how many of you have got new fans? Huge crowd response from that. So I think that just speaks to obviously why now 23 years later we are getting, or I guess 12 years after the show has been off the air. Is that right? Holy hell, that's crazy.
13.
What? 13.
13
Yeah,
years.
13. Jeez, 13 years since the show has been off the air. What that we're getting a convention and we're getting such a huge response to it. I mean, in Jersey, but and I know so many people, you know, are local to New York and were able to come. But I mean, we had all kinds of people from all over the world, show up for this thing, and and I think it's only going to be bigger next time, and we'll talk about next time closer to the end of the show. But I think just setting that, you know, I don't want to break my arm patting myself on the back because I don't do that. But I think that was the right foot to kick off on, and introducing our first guest, which was
Glover,
Mr. John Glover, and
your buddy you'd run into in the bathroom.
Who I did run into the restroom later, and who we actually accidentally ran into outside the hotel just mere moments before we were ever even supposed to get started, because he had gotten some bad I think he had bad directions and pulled up to the hotel just in time because he drove himself from his home in New York. But you
know, the thing that tripped me out that morning is how familiar some of the cast were with us already. Like when Kristen saw me and she's like, Craig, and came up and gave me a hug.
I have to tell you this, and I don't think you noticed this, and there's probably things we're going to tell each other through the course of the next 20, 30 minutes or so that we didn't get to tell each other from the weekend. Because if we were together, we were backstage and, you know, obviously needed to be quiet. But so I haven't told you this, but I clocked Kristen when she walked in the automatic doors by the green room. She was headed into the green room and saw you and went out of her way to come talk to you.
Aw, that's so sweet.
She had not even put her stuff down yet. So, if I had not told you that, I wanted to. So I thought that was amazing.
Yeah, she is such a sweetheart. Like, all of them were just so nice.
Just the best to hang out with. And
we got to have a good conversation with Tom too.
You know, I was going to save that, but I'll talk about it now just because you're right. And honestly, in so many weekends and so many moments throughout the weekend that had such lasting impact on me, honestly, we literally closed out the convention with Tom and walked down the stairs backstage with him after we said goodbye to everybody. After I made a fool of myself, we need to talk about that too.
I don't remember this.
Oh, you don't remember? We were like, well, we'll get there. But we walked down with Tom, and you know, they've got handlers. They've got to go. The thing is, and if you've never been to a convention, or especially a creation convention, you really can't comprehend the inner workings of getting people from place to place and event to event seamlessly. When you've got thousands of people, you know, cheering for them and wanting to talk to them and trying to get their attention and everything. You know, it wasn't like a Comic-Con necessarily, or I mean a San Diego Comic-Con on that scale, but Creation does so many of these, and they have gotten this timing sequence down really well. There was only one time, I think, throughout the whole weekend that we were delayed. And it was only like 2 minutes. It was like 2 minutes, and it was because of Rosenbaum. If it was going to be by anybody, of course it was going to be by Rosenbaum. But no, it's just because photos went over. But they're literally walking off the stage from one panel and then being whisked away by handlers to their photo ops or their autograph sessions. And they might have a solo photo op, or Tom had photo ops with Michael, just the two of them, and Tom had, you know, with Erica and Kristen, duos with just them individually. So, you know, there's multiple chances to get to take your pictures over the weekend, but they've got it so stacked a schedule that it just has to run like a machine. And I can't say enough good things about Creation's team that it made that happen behind the stage. And I was honored to be asked to help with that in some situations, but we did. We walked off stage with Tom, and his handler was there, and I expected, the show's over. Tom's gonna go, and he was. Kristen walked off and literally got in the car and headed to the airport. So like,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, she was out the door and gone. I know. Tom used the trip as a vacation to visit with family in the New York area while he was there. But I would still expect. Okay, convention's over. I'm not. I'm done. It's time to go. How long did we sit back there? A half hour?
10 or 15 minutes.
It was closer to 30 minutes. I mean, when all was said and done, because it was at least 12 or 15 minutes when the handler came over the first time, and he was like, "I'm good," and waved her off before she, came back again. I was like, "Okay, we really got to go." But let's
also point out that after he was talking to us, he showed up in the bar.
He did show up at the bar, yeah, and snapped pictures with a few people.
It's just so funny because, 20 years ago, he was so exhausted and overworked. He didn't really, and I think he was a little afraid of interacting with fans in a way.
I would be. I mean, I remember seeing what we saw online. I mean, if I had, I couldn't have looked at that stuff back then.
Yeah,
I would if I was in his position. So to be able to come full circle on it and not be so bogged down on it, because I would be the same way. You've got me 20 hours a day working, shooting. I think he said it best. We filmed 10 days. You got done with it in 42 minutes.
Yeah.
I think he said that during the panel with Kristen.
I said to him at some point during the convention, I was just like, I'm so glad to see you so happy.
And he is,
because he seemed to be having such a wonderful time.
And that was one thing, is when we talked backstage. I know we briefly had a conversation about one specific episode from the show. But after that, we were talking about kids. He wanted to see my pictures of my kids. He's showing me pictures of his kids, and we were talking about family and not being able time to watch TV shows, and like it was the perfect end to that weekend, to just be able to walk off and sit and have a conversation with him. I wish we could have done that with everybody, and obviously we got to talk to all of them. I feel like more than anybody, I got to talk to Aaron.
I was going to say the same thing. Aaron seemed to hang out with us for quite a bit and just talk. And
he did, and then
he was talking about his family and stuff too.
Yeah, he did, and then I think I don't remember where you were, honestly, but when he was clocking out, so to speak, when he was in the office of the convention, he was just sitting there waiting. And I don't think the Wi-Fi had gone down or something, but anyway, he was just sitting there waiting, and of course he was perfectly fine because he's Aaron Ashmore, and as I said on stage, and I'll tell this story again in a second for those who might not remember it, nicest guy ever. He was just sitting there waiting, and he was like, "Have a seat." So I just sat down and talked to him for another 15, 20 minutes right there.
Poor Aaron, though, during his panel, so many people asked him questions that were aimed at his brother.
They did.
Sean.
And I think, with him having been on the show as well, and he was in what, 2 episodes?
Oh yeah, I forgot he was in,
because he was in Asylum and Leech. And there's the whole X-Men of it all with him, and I think people wanted to hear stories about had they ever swap places for anything, and he told some great stories.
Well, I think I don't know if you caught it when we came out at the end of one of his panels. I'm like, did they ask you about Animorphs yet?
Yeah. And he said no Animorphs questions. I did hear you say that.
Yeah, I just thought that was fun. And
was he second after Glover? Was he the next? I can't even remember. It's so jumbled in my head now.
I think Erica was second.
Was Erica second? Yeah. Okay. What do you want to say?
Because
go ahead.
Yeah, and then Laura was the first afternoon, and was it Kristen? No,
I think Kristen was right after Glover. Maybe not. I can't remember. I could look at the schedule, but why? It doesn't matter. It all happened.
It all happened
in and out of sequence. It all happened the way it happened. But with Aaron, I did want to tell him, and of course, did not expect him to remember this. And he was like, "I'm sorry, I don't remember this." And I was like, "That's not why I'm telling you this story. I'm telling the audience this story, You do 100 interviews a year, and this was 18 years ago. No, 15 years ago. 15 years ago. But after Doomsday aired, he did an interview with Shu, and we got the normal. Okay, you can have him for 20 minutes from I don't know. I can't remember if Susan Kessler set this up or who set this up, but we ended up talking more like 45 minutes to an hour because that's just the guy he is, and he was asking me questions about what I thought about everything, and I was like, that's not why we're here. I'm asking you. And he was like, no, I'm genuinely curious. I want to know, how you felt about everything. I remember him being like, I didn't get the whole Clark fading out at the end decision thing.
Did anybody?
Well, yeah, because they did the death of Superman, but they didn't do the death of Superman. They did the death of Clark Kent. Anyway, neither here nor there. But we finished the interview, and there's this huge storm going on outside my house, and lightning strike, power cuts. I've still got the recording still going. Literally, have just hung up. I lose everything. There's nothing there when I'm able to boot back up. And so he had called me on the phone, and we had done it. So I had patched him through. So I just texted him, and I was like, I just want to tell you how much I appreciate what you just did. I do want to let you know that the interview will not be coming out, and I apologize for that because of, and I explained the circumstances. And the man called me back, and we talked for another 30, 45 minutes and did it
great.
again. And, I didn't ask for that. That's
the kind of person he is, though.
That's the kind of person he is, and that's who he was on stage. And I really enjoyed getting to vamp with him on stage. I specifically talked to him about the legacy. We've got a new movie coming out next year, and yet another batch of actors playing these legacy characters. And I wanted to know specifically the season DVD. I think it was season 7. Yeah. The featurette of the legacy of Jimmy Olsen's, and
now there's been like 4 since him.
Yeah, well, yeah, but he got he got to sit with Jack Larson and Mark McClure and Sam Huntington and have this kind of roundtable discussion about what it was to play Jimmy. And he was like, I hadn't even thought about that in years. Like he really enjoyed that question.
I told him, I was like, you've actually worked with 2 Jimmy Olsens. Michael Cassidy, Grant Gabriel. They didn't say his name on screen.
I didn't think about Michael Cassidy. Yeah, they didn't say. Well, they do in was it the Ultimate Cut where he's credited? Name, maybe, I don't know. I keep forgetting.
It's a mess.
I keep forgetting.
But also,
we had Jimmy Olsen in Batman versus Superman.
Yeah, piggybacking on what you were saying about how nice Aaron is. I mean, and we already talked about how sweet Kristen is. Erica is so nice and professional, and Glover's a trip, and Rosie and Tom. Everybody was wonderful. But I was very happy to see my former neighbor Laura Vandervoort, and it's like
she was very happy to see you.
Yeah, we're just so comfortable with each other, and that also helped with the panels because, like, at first she was unsure about doing a solo panel. She's like, "Will you get on stage if I'm having trouble?" and that sort of thing.
And she had 2,
but it really worked out.
Yeah, she had 2 throughout the weekend. Aaron had 2, and then Michael and Tom had a panel. In addition to Smallville Nights being Saturday night, the kind of extra thing they do when they go to conventions, which is not really a panel, it's more an interactive kind of thing they do with the audience if you've not been to one of those. And they had Erica and Kristen showed up at that, which was huge for that audience. Erica and Tom actually reenacted the final scene from Homecoming.
I wish I had seen that. I was out to dinner with Zach and all them.
But so that was epic. But yeah, there were so many different things going on, so many different photo ops, and I tell you who I really enjoyed hanging out, and I say I hung out with Aaron, and I guess of the cast I hung out with Aaron the most, but I think the person I talked to the most was Ryan from Talkville, because Michael and Tom had pulled him along for this, and a nicer guy you would not meet.
Except for yourself.
Well, no, I don't know about that, but I genuinely enjoyed talking to him throughout the entire weekend. He's hilarious. He's got the best sense of humor, and he wasn't a fish out of water by any stretch of the imagination, but he was also I think he kind of had that "why am I here" mentality.
Yeah.
Other than just getting to hang out.
And Tom and Michael brought him on stage for their panel.
that was the Saturday afternoon panel. Was Tom?
Yeah.
Oh, we
Yeah.
closed with Tom and Michael, didn't we?
Right, and that's the panel where I got a shout out.
You did, and I'm
And
still trying. I think Tim's got video. I think he told me so. I got to track down for you
Because
that
the video I found cut it, I guess.
did it.
But yeah, it was interesting because Michael shouted out and he was like, "Craig, come out here!" And I was like, looking everywhere for where the microphone was.
Well, because Ryan had I think I gave you mine, didn't I? Because Ryan had taken yours.
I had one that wasn't mic 1 or mic 2, so the lady
okay.
had to
All right.
situate that. So that took me longer to get out there, and I think I just popped my head out.
Yeah.
Like I might not
briefly.
even be visible on one of those videos as popping out.
Ryan, they did that. We closed out Saturday night with Tom and Michael, and it wasn't 5 minutes into that panel before somebody in the audience yelled out, "Where's Ryan?" I don't think anybody knew he was actually there. And this is, again, if you watch Talkville, this is Tom and Michael's. This is their Derek.
Podcast.
This is their Derek, I
Who
guess.
said they
Well,
would
no,
have
I'm saying Ryan is their Derek, I guess you would say. I don't know if anybody actually knew that or not, or if they had been posting that on social media, because God knows we
I feel
didn't.
like people would have seen Ryan in the hallways and stuff.
Maybe so. But one person yells out, "Where's Ryan?" And the entire, I mean, if it was 500 people, it was 1,000, start shouting out, "Ryan, Ryan." And so I gave him my microphone, and he came out and sat down, and he was like, "You two couldn't hold court 5 minutes without." And it ended up kind of turning into a Talkville panel a little bit, because I think he even got some questions by the time audience members were lining up.
Sometimes I feel like there were some things coming from the audience like that. The thing that made me laugh was the Sunday morning panel. Everybody sang "Happy Birthday" to Aaron Ashmore,
right?
And when they're like, "Happy birthday, dear Aaron," somebody yelled, "And Sean." And
Yeah,
that was really funny too.
I didn't think about that. Yeah, it was his birthday on Sunday.
Yeah.
Man, that Sunday morning panel though, this was specifically for VIP and gold members that had bought the highest level tickets. And again, I this is not I feel I want to recap for people that weren't there. This is not us bragging at all, because I'm still flabbergasted and honored and humbled by the chance to have been there in the first place and to have these experiences. But for those that didn't get to be at the full cast panel Sunday morning, that was really a treat to watch the 7 of them interact on stage. I still have to pinch myself a little bit, because I'm like, yeah, we were, it was fine. We were up there, we talked, we introduced, we jetted just in case, we were there in the wings in case we needed to hop back on and off. I mean, we were up, down, up, down, up, down on stage the whole time. But the professional photography and the photo ops that people got, but we were able to each get pictures with the entire cast.
Hopefully we'll have scans and then you can put them in this video.
I got mine last night. I got my email last night, so you should be receiving yours.
Okay, maybe it went to my spam or something.
And I thought it was nice. They gave two options for each picture. They'd kind of already instantly retouched the ones they printed for us, but they also gave us like the raw photo as well, or at least they did for me for the ones I had, because I also was able to get one with Tom and Erica, which my Clovis loving heart will hang on to and adore for a long time.
Around what time was yesterday? Because I'm looking at my emails.
It was late last night.
Okay,
I think it was the middle of the night for me. I imagine it's just on a, they're getting to him as they get to him. I can't even imagine the.
Yeah, I paid for mine later than you did, so that would probably. Oh
yeah, because we had to pay to get the digitals. That's right. Yeah, I wanted to support them. It was so nice of them to give us what they gave us. I was like, yes, please take the $30 for digital files. I appreciate.
But it was 10.
10, whatever.
Oh, because you got other pictures.
I got 2. Yeah, it was 20. That's right. I don't know. I was just.
But
Look, that was hard for ADHD me. I was in the moment and like in 1,000 other moments at the same time because there was so much going and zooming and going on.
One thing I think we should probably point out, and I don't think we're in any way is like shilling for creation, even though they did a wonderful job. I know some fans will say, yes, it's very expensive to go between the photo ops and the hotel and the admission, but it is worth every penny.
I didn't think I would have gotten to go because every year the shoe guys, we all go on vacation together. We go somewhere,
right,
and we're literally about to leave in a couple days. And for our trip this year, Graham and Frank and Robin and all of us, and I was like, I can't go to a Smallville convention right before I go on vacation for a week. Like, I'm literally flying in and flying back out. And I'm glad you twisted my arm. I'm glad Creation twisted my arm because I would not have traded this for anything. But to your point, I would have absolutely paid every dime that it would have cost to go to that just as a fan because it was worth every penny of it.
And it was more intimate than a Comic-Con. Obviously, you're guaranteed seats. The photo ops don't take hours to get.
No,
it just seemed to be like a true experience. And I also just have to speak to the notion that there were so many cool fans there. And again, everybody was positive, but like some of them, like Santi came from Uruguay.
Oh wow.
So people came from all over the place.
I heard Australia. I heard New Zealand. I can't remember. Tom and Michael called out a few.
And some of them are their patrons.
And I want to say that. Good. Thank you for saying that. Because Talkville is just wild to me. The fact that we can listen to the two of them talk about the show I was talking about, and the show you were writing about, is this far later is beyond weird to me.
Yeah,
they are so good to their Patreon members.
Yeah.
And if somebody came up in line and said their name or their Patreon handle through Talkville, they immediately clocked to them. Like Tom said, oh, it's, Michael would call out somebody or they'd make some reference to inside joke that happens because of
who's that?
Yeah. That was incredible to me, just their recall. And I mean, obviously there's people who followed them. They do other conventions, and make appearances that aren't just specific to Smallville. But
like I did the Talkville Live thing a couple months ago.
Yeah.
And again, kind of like this convention, the great thing was like meeting other fans. And I found out that several of the people who were at the convention were at the Talkville Live thing that I was at.
Oh,
but
really?
I didn't get to talk to them then. Yeah. I know this one guy, Charlie, came from like North Carolina or South Carolina. And there's this woman, Leanne, who was there. I think she traveled as well. And I think there's somebody from England that I saw at both events.
I had so many good interactions with people and not necessarily even knew what Shoe was. I mean, it wasn't even that. It was just us being up there hosting that came up and said, how much they enjoyed this. And I was like, I will pass that along to the people who are responsible for this because we are just here because we lucked out and got
and we really want to do it again.
And we'd be happy to. And I that sounds like something that's could be in the works. We've been invited back, so we'll see what happens. And let's talk about next time because I thought they weren't going to announce
neither did I
the next year, and
so we were on stage and we're like, would you like to do another one? And then there's an announcement right behind us.
So we go out to close Tom and Kristen. That was the Kalana panel was the last one of the weekend. We're closing out the show, thanking everybody for coming. Do you want to do this again? Huge round of applause. Do you want to? When do you want to do it? Where do you want to do it? Call out some names, and all these things. And then behind us on screen, join us next year in Chicago. And of course,
September
we can't
2025.
See. Next year, we need a monitor in front of us, down front on stage, so we know what's going on those screens behind us. But September, is it 13th through 15th, 14th through 15th in Chicago will be year 2. As soon as tickets become available, we will start promoting that through all our socials, and I know Craig will as well. And
I know Tom said he'd like to see a lot more people as far as like cast. showing up.
You know, I think you and I got to discuss this briefly with who were we talking to? It wasn't Adam. Adam was the CEO of Creation backstage, and he was wonderful to get to meet. But I know Annette really doesn't do these things, but
if anybody could convince her, it's Tom.
I think hearing her on stage I could just sit there and listen to that all day. Like I think that would be,
she's the sweetest person on the face of the earth.
Yeah, I've never had the pleasure of getting to speak with her, but I know.
Well, Laura's never met her.
Really?
Which blew my mind.
That I guess not, because they would have just passed each other. But I know she has always been so good to you. Over the years.
Yeah, when I had that surgery last year, and she sent me a quilt that she knitted.
She did. I forgot about that. I was just thinking about in the time the show was on, but she did. She knitted you a quilt after you had surgery. That's so cool.
And it kept me warm, which is good. The other thing I just wanted to say about this event that, I mean, it was very humbling and flattering, is so many people knew Krypton Site. Yes. Which was just crazy. But nobody remembered their usernames on the forums.
No, they were a little. That was a little hard to recall for a few of them.
It was like, what was your screen name on the forum? I was like, I don't remember anymore. Let me go check. Yeah, that sort of thing.
And several of them did pull out their phones and were looking.
Yes, so they weren't like BSing or anything.
No.
I thought that was so cool because sometimes when you've been doing stuff so long, you're like, does anybody still care? And obviously these people do. And
well, I mean, I think that speaks to the work you have put in and what started out as, I know, just a passion project for you, but and for Tom and Michael to have literally said this on stage, and I know they said it when you were on Talkville last week, which if you've not checked that out, please go listen to the Talkville episode or was it 2 weeks ago? It was before Reckoning. It was Fanatic. Yeah. So it's been 3 weeks, I guess now. Time is meaningless. But if you've not watched the episode for Fanatic, Craig is the guest for that episode, and the flowers they gave you for years of service, and Tom had even said at one point to me, he was like, "Thank you for 20 years of doing what you do." I mean, he's never, we've interviewed him before, but he's never actually literally been on the show. Right. But I think a lot of the people were in that audience because of you, because of Krypton Site. And I think that so many people got into the fandom and got into the show as a result of that invaluable resource that you provided for so long.
And it was a community before we had social media.
That's the wildest thing to me. Yeah.
Like, everybody's talking about, I mean, I remember the live threads on the site, which still are there. You'd get like 50 pages of people talking about the episode as it airs, which is insane.
Yeah, no, and I don't think you'd get that today when you've got an Instagram or Twitter,
like I'll set up a Superman and Lois forum and might not even get any posts.
Yeah,
and that was for a season premiere this week. I interviewed Bitsy yesterday.
Oh, really? You got to talk to two Lois Lanes in 1 week, Greg.
Exactly, but one of the questions I asked her, I was like, well, I asked Erica Durance the same question last week. Do your kids realize that you're Lois Lane? And it's so funny to hear both of them answering questions like that.
Oh, really?
And it's kind of trippy. I was like, do I need to find Terry Hatcher next week to make it 3?
I think you need to go for broke here. And actually, you really should. I mean, honestly.
Oh, I would love to interview Terry someday.
I think you should. I think you should just shoot for it and be like, hi, I've just interviewed Erica Durance and Bitsy Tulloch. I think let it keep going and see if you luck out with another one there, because that's.
I could tell her my Lois and Clark history. I met her on set when I was like 17 or 18,
which is crazy. That's so crazy.
Yeah, that's really crazy.
Is there anything we're forgetting to tell? I feel like there's so many stories throughout the weekend, and so
I still feel kind of a high from it.
Yeah, there's good dopamine. It's good serotonin off of that one.
I feel like everybody who attended ended up with that high. Like people were not having a bad time at all.
No.
And it was a great way.
I heard
sorry.
2 bad interactions, and that was because of the individual, not because of anything that actually happened at the event.
Oh man, you'll have to tell me about those
Like
sometime.
that was literally on them and not for any other reason. And I only heard about that through the grapevine, but that was just 2 people being crummy. I mean, absolutely crummy. Everybody else I talked to, and we talked to a bunch of people, were just ecstatic, just happy to be there, and so appreciative of the cast coming and doing something like this so long after the show has been off the air, coming together and doing something. And
I mean,
I think
Creation. They got 7 of the main cast members. Of
that's
the show.
Incredible. I think Creation really. I know with other shows they do like Supernatural, they'll do 3 or 4 of those a year, and they definitely could with this. I don't know if they ever would, but I think hats off to them for recognizing that the longevity of this series and the legacy of it in the context of Superman mythos is so important, and the fandom is still so strong, and new people are finding this show every day.
A lot found it during COVID.
Yeah, COVID was huge for it. I mean, and obviously, it hit Hulu streaming a few years ago, and it's still on there. We finally got a high def release. Series release.
I finally got one thanks to a good friend of mine.
Well, you needed a good Christmas present. Most people did. Even though I still keep forgetting to look if was it season 6? Is that the disc?
Season 6, like one of the discs. I have like 2 disc 22s.
Is it funny if it's the disc that has us both on it that's missing? That would be.
Yeah, I think that's a little strange, but
is it really?
Decided to pop in my DVD to watch our feature again.
Tell me, is it really our DVD? That's why it's missing. They pulled it. They couldn't have us both.
Yeah, they're like, no, even though it was completely sealed and brand new.
So funny that
we just didn't sign off the clearances for the likeness rights, so they just cut it. It's lost media now.
Chris and Tanner came back 17 years later and were like, never mind. That's so funny if that really is that disc that's missing. I have not watched that thing in forever.
It's crazy. And, I was kind of like looking around at the convention to see if I saw anybody from that documentary.
Yeah.
The Smallville Big Fans thing on the season 6 DVD.
I wonder if I
didn't, but also it's been almost 20 years.
That's insane.
So people aren't going to look the same. I mean, you don't look the same. I don't look the same.
I certainly don't. I remember getting that phone call from Warner Brothers that day asking if they could interview us for that thing, for that season 6 documentary, and I was like, us? Like we're just skipping class.
No, it was
like
great.
We're not doing anything. And I remember, Susan Kessler was the whole thing with her.
Susan was so wonderful.
I love Susan. I'm glad. And
Al messaged both of us. Al Goff.
Yeah, Al. Al and Miles need to be there next year, hands down.
Yeah.
And I know they got a lot of love on stage, and frankly, I don't think you can give them enough love for what.
I mean, they created a show that lasted 10 seasons that people are talking about 24 years later,
and showing up in droves for. I mean, really, it's thanks to them and thanks to this cast that we, and Peter Rosenthal. We can go through the whole
it was a wonderful experience.
It really was.
The other thing I wanted to mention before we before we wrap, is the notion that we talked about the positivity, but it was a great place for friends to convene, and I know that happened at the Supernatural, where people go to like every Creation Con just to see their friends again. And I think that's going to happen with these. But it's like everywhere you walked, there were just people who were friendly, talking about the show, loving the show, not going to judge you if you ship whoever they don't ship.
Right.
They do need to have a close panel next year, though.
Yeah, no, I think that was just a scheduling thing that they couldn't work out because you've got so many different people. But yeah, they're definitely. I want to see more driven panels like that next year. And
I mean, if there's more guests, they'll probably do more pairings.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would be remiss if I did not mention we also got to hang out with Zach from Always Hold On to Smallville.
Oh yeah,
was there and had a booth
and his
for the
friends,
weekend, and
Lance,
and
Chris, and
Lance
Matt.
and
Especially
Matt.
Chris deserves a shout out. He got us all dinner, which was amazing.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, he
Yeah,
spent some
he's
time
a
with
nice
you.
guy,
He
Chris
spent some time
Fuchs.
with you Friday night before you were able to check in too, and kept you company.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
so
and
that's great. I
met
was
some cool
glad.
people, and I also saw that some of these Talkville patrons that we saw that I'd mentioned being at other events, they all go to these events and see each other, and
Yeah.
that's why Tom and Michael recognize them.
Well, I went to a dinner with a few of the creation people Sunday night after you left, and they had rented out the whole back area of the restaurant, the Patreons. There was like
Yeah.
15 of them just having dinner
Oh man,
together.
I wish I had been there that last night. I had to
Yeah, it
catch
was a good time. I wish you
So
had
did
too.
somebody from Creation flew with me
That's right. So
from California,
well,
and then our flight was delayed by like 2 hours.
it's
That's
the my easiest exit ever. I literally got out of the Uber. No, not a single person in line through security. Walked straight.
Yeah,
through
Newark
security.
Airport was pretty good about that.
That
At least
that new terminal is nice that they've got open. I really.
But I think
enjoyed
Chicago will be easier to get in and out of.
I think it's going to be huge. I cannot wait to see you again. Hope I'll be seeing you before then. Next time I'm in LA soon. But I think it can only get bigger. It can only get better. They were polling us for ideas on stuff to do, different stuff to do, different elements, things to bring in, stuff that's specific for the show. I think that they've got their normal things that they do for every TV show at these conventions, and those are, the trivia, the yes no trivia and stuff like that is perfect. But I think there's also some specific things that can be done just for Smallville that will be huge. So
I still would have liked to have done like a fandom panel, and that would have given the actors a break.
Yeah,
half hour, I feel like there was only one panel at this event that wasn't like full, and that was because there were autograph signings at the same time as Aaron Ashmore's panel on Sunday. So, and you had to even go on stage and start asking questions. But I think like if they had like a fandom panel with like you, me, Zach, other people who've been a part of all this, that could have just filled some time, even if it's like 15 minutes between panels.
Well, they definitely needed a buffer. They were up, down, and talking, and
they were so
signing
good,
and
though,
hanging pictures the whole time, taking pictures the whole time. But yeah, they never let on once if they were tired. They
didn't, and all of the actors seemed to be in such a good mood and happy to be there as well.
Yep.
And that's so cool.
happy to
I
see
think
each
they
other.
felt the love too.
Yeah, and so happy to see each other. That some of them that don't get to do that very often, and that we're hanging out, and I thought that was fantastic as well. I do want to say again, I can't say enough how much I appreciate Creation Entertainment for our invitations to be a part of something, this inaugural event, and something that meant so much to me, and I know that audience meant so much to them, and that I won't trade that. Even if we weren't invited back and didn't get to do it again, I wouldn't trade that for the world, because that was so that was just a whirlwind of a weekend. And it's after I said on stage, collectively together, us doing this 40 years combined, it's just wild to go from, I don't know about you, but I just, I think where I was sitting when Tucker and I, way back when, were like, what if we did something? And, what if we got involved and did our own thing? And, not to take away from what Greg's doing, but just did something different.
What you did was so different from what I was doing.
It's because there wasn't a thing yet. It just wasn't, podcasting wasn't podcasting back then. And
it really worked out.
And to go from that to, getting a high five from Welling
as we're going off stage. That we have on video.
Yeah, I've got.
I think you texted it to me yesterday. Actually,
is a wild turnaround, and I'm humbled by it, and I was a fantastic endeavor by Creation, and I'm really appreciative of that. But I'm also very appreciative by this cast that was so kind to us on and off stage throughout the whole weekend.
I am appreciative of you being there, because I thought we made such a great team up there.
Well, I don't think I was there without you being there, so I appreciate you. And I
Yeah, I
agree.
mean,
I
it
think,
just it's the circle of appreciation. I
yeah,
think I
yeah,
called it
yeah.
that this
Well,
weekend.
the Venn diagram,
But
but
like, you really know how to work an audience. I mean, you said you've done stage stuff. And for me, like I was a little nervous at first, but I think I got the hang of it
I
eventually.
thought you did a great job. I think I think they were pleased with it. I think that they enjoyed having two people up there that they were familiar with in some form or
Yes,
another
very much so.
to bring them out and to know the things to say and the questions to ask. I know Tom and Michael both really appreciated you plugging Tom's new movie and Michael's book at the outset. And
Kristen's new show
yeah,
that Erica's on next week. Probably the week that people are listening to
yeah.
this.
So
Murder in a Small Town. Erica's going to be on with
that's
Kristen.
right. That's right. On her new show on Fox.
And
So,
Laura and her awards.
yeah.
I know that was really
Yeah.
special to her. So I
And-
had to be sure to throw that in there.
Glover's got a new short film coming out. He was talking about Aaron's on SkyMed. Is that his show?
Skyman. I kept forgetting the name. That's why I didn't say it on stage.
Yeah, so it's good to see. I love seeing them all work, obviously, in different things
Yeah.
now and thinking.
And yet they still made the time to come to this convention. Nobody canceled. I mean, sometimes you have to cancel, but
absolutely, yeah.
nobody did here. And and then of course, people like Annette are doing Virgin River.
Right.
It's a good group, but
yeah, Cassidy,
I would love to see
I would
Annette
love,
and Michael McKean.
I would
or
love to see
something, too.
Michael come. I would love to see Cassidy. I know she was filming. I don't know if they reached out to her or not, but she was filming the final season of Righteous Gemstones. So
Cassidy is the coolest person in the world.
she is.
I feel
She's
so uncool
great.
around her.
I hope she can.
Sam Witwer would be great sometime.
Sam would be fantastic. I think.
And Kristen mentioned in a panel that Eric Johnson remembers everything.
She
So
did
maybe
say
Eric
that, and
could
I know our buddy Michael Bailey got to do the Smallville convention at Dragon Con. He moderated that this year, and it was
nice.
It was with Eric and Kristen. It was the only two they had from the show, but
Michael Bailey is awesome too.
He is. The professor is awesome, but Eric Johnson's recall is evidently exceptional.
Yeah.
Which good for him because mine is not anymore. I struggled a couple of times this weekend thinking of moments and times, but
you're asking certain trivia questions, and I know there's at least one or two that would have gotten me. I would have.
I had to get a little tricky because I didn't know. I wasn't sure going into it how I did. I came up with a majority, and Tim came up with some as well of the trivia questions. They did yes, no, so basically true, false, and they would come up in front of the. We were on stage, and they were down on the floor in front of the stage, and
they'd have a yes sign or no sign,
and they had to answer and obviously be disqualified if they were wrong. But I had to get tricky. I felt because the more we went, there was still a ton of people, and I was like, I'm gonna have to get a little bit. I had one in the chamber that I was holding just to, if we got down to two
Are
people.
you gonna share that or save it for next year?
Yeah, I'll share it. I think I told you. I said it was Phil Collins' "I Grieve" was the song playing over Jonathan Kent's funeral, and it was not. It was Peter Gabriel's "I Grieve." And I figured I would get some groans on that one if I went through with it, but I also needed some buffer in case because there were three
that
rounds.
last one, it felt like they kept going and going and going.
It went on for a while.
Last two in the last group.
People know this show, and to their credit, and I applaud them for that.
Can we also talk about the very cute Clark and Lois kids?
Oh my gosh! So we got to do the cosplay contest, and there was a junior division.
But there was like separate for kids, and there were three kids.
There were three kids.
Their cosplays were all perfect.
Two Clark Kents and Lois Lane, and you can't. I mean, they were 3-4 years old. We gave all three of them, let all three of them win. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
all three of you are the winners.
And I loved that at the costume thing, we had like the season 9 blur on either side.
Yeah, there's some fantastic costumes. I know we got to talk to Kat was one of them.
Oh, Kat's amazing.
They were amazing on Friday night and dressed as Football Clark in
tackling dummy,
complete jersey and everything.
How do I look like a tackling dummy?
There were some Talon baristas. I thought that was a cute.
Yes.
I thought that was a cute contest. I mean, a cute concept.
There was also like a living kryptonite. I think that's what the green suit was.
What, I thought they were supposed to be crypto. I thought that's what they were saying.
They said crypto, but when they asked a question to Tom and Michael later that day, it's like, "Oh, what are you?" They called this person green screen person or something. And they're like, "No, I'm kryptonite."
Oh, well, that makes more sense. They still, I think
Yeah.
they still won one of the I think they still won third place.
Yeah.
Whoever that was.
And I think it was a Clark and Lois couple that was second place.
I think they won.
And then
second,
Kat won, right?
And yeah, Kat won first because
Yeah.
we did audience meter and they lit up. But
Yeah,
that
they
was
loved
like
that costume.
25 people. I've seen video of that, and I go down.
Oh,
the
really?
Whole, yeah, I'll send it to you. I go down the whole line of people asking names, and I get back up on stage, and I'm like, I'm not going to remember any of those names. Sorry. 'Cause they were fun.
Next year we probably should do it so one of us does one half of the line.
Yeah.
And one of us does the other half.
Well, all of it was new to us. We were learning.
It was all new,
we were learning on
but
the
I mean,
fly.
it was, and I think I've said this already, but like, I was a little intimidated thinking, oh no, I'm going to be on stage in front of all these people.
Yeah.
Number one, the lighting, I think I mentioned that already, but also the notion that everybody was just so happy and positive.
Yeah.
There was nothing to worry about.
No, it was a good time all around, and I thank
There's just
you.
love everywhere.
I've appreciated getting to know you these last 2 decades, but that was
It's the most we ever got to hang out.
Well, yeah, usually it's a hey, I'm in town, you want to grab dinner kind of thing. This was a we get to spend the whole weekend together talking about Smallville. What better way to,
how terrible.
Yeah, what better way for the two of us to spend it?
You'd think we'd be tired of it by now.
You'd think, but I'm even more excited for next year now.
Yeah. Well, ever since I got that Blu-ray, I definitely watch a couple episodes a week.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
This is 20-plus-year-old show.
Yeah. And it holds up, man.
Yeah, even the episodes I didn't watch as much originally, it's just fun.
That's why I've enjoyed going back through, because there's some of them that I always, even like when the DVDs would release, I might watch one time or I'd skip over. To sit down and have actually done a full series rewatch, I've not done. And so going back through some of these, I know we just got kicked off season 3. With you,
but when we did Calling an Exodus for your podcast the other week, this is really good. And I watched Commencement a couple weeks ago, and talk about a great finale. And it looked like the budget was so much higher than, you see all this spectacle on like the Arrowverse shows, but that doesn't compare to a helicopter spinning around and meteors coming to the ground. I mean, that's just an amazing episode.
That was an epic night of television. I remember.
Honestly, Smallville always did great finales, except for
Doomsday.
that one.
Yeah, I remember Commencement ending and us going all getting, and we all watched it together, cooked out that night, and then going to directly to the theater to get in line for Revenge of the Sith.
Oh wow!
I didn't
realize it was the same time.
As soon as it was over,
I just remember when Covenant aired, like text messaging was still kind of a new thing on the phone. That tells you how old we are,
right?
And that night I was on the East Coast, so I knew it had just ended, and I got like at least 20 texts from friends. Is Chloe dead? Like people thinking that's what was going on.
Yeah.
And that's a crazy memory, and I love that we have those memories and share those with fans. And you doing the podcast all these years, it's like it's like that continued love.
I think
hopefully you and Zach and maybe me, if you want to have me, can do a podcast episode together sometime.
We
Zach
absolutely should. I know we discussed that briefly on Sunday, but because our time was so brief together. But I'm
glad you guys finally got to meet.
I am too. Well, had you met him?
Oh yeah, I've met him.
Oh okay, I didn't realize you guys had already
at least
met.
Once in person. I feel like it's twice, but I definitely remember meeting him. We met up in Highland Park. We were going to go bowling, but there was too long of a line.
Well, I'm glad I got to. I'm glad to meet and to meet his crew as well.
It's it was
weird.
a good
It's
crew.
weird
and
the people
they had a booth
Yeah,
which was
they had a
cool.
booth. It's weird, the people, I don't want to say you collect over the years, but the group
The
that
people you recognize.
well, no, just the people that get into your circle because of something like this. And so like
Yeah.
obviously he's got his crew and they're all there, and I've got, my guys, and unfortunately it
I
was just
got
such
mine.
a last minute thing. Yeah, unfortunately it was just such a last minute thing that Robin and Frank and everybody didn't get to attend, but they've all said they're going to be there next year, so we've got to make it as good a convention as we can for everybody, and not just the audience, but us too, because I want it to be,
Yeah.
I want it to be worth it too. Because
I really hope Creation lets us offer some feedback.
yeah, I mean, I don't
But
have any negative, that's for sure.
yeah, it wouldn't be negative at
no,
all. I mean,
everything I have to say is good about how everything went, but I definitely,
no, but I mean feedback for like panels and that
sure.
sort of thing.
Well,
Things we'd love to see.
some of these conventions, and I don't know if this one could be the case because they've already announced the dates, but some of the, especially the supernatural ones, they go 3 days.
Yeah,
I don't know that I would
you
have
could
been
have
able
easily
to.
gone 3 days.
It could have. I don't know that I would have picked myself back up. After a
Yeah,
third day,
were
'cause
your
I
feet
was,
killing
oh
you
my God,
after?
they were killing me.
Yeah.
Absolutely killing me. There was very little sitting at any
Yeah.
point. And one thing, that was so great was, with a lot of these things, if you introduce and you go off stage, well, that's it. You're done until you go back. I mean, I sat there behind
Yeah, we all
the
did
curtain
for
and
most
watched
of it.
I stood there behind the curtain and watched the panels the whole time, because I was as much an audience member as anybody out there was. I wanted to hear everything that was being said too.
Yeah, I think the only time I really stepped away for a couple minutes was during a panel, and I went to go see Zach and some other friends, my friend Danny who came down, and it was cool to just like hang out with them for a couple minutes before coming back.
Yep, I agree.
But yeah, everybody, yeah, and it just was well-oiled machine. I know they use that phrase a lot.
I'm impressed by the staff that they're able to pull these out off weekend after weekend. They went from
Yeah, I mean, they have two of them coming.
That's what
I
they've said.
mean,
They're
they'll have already
overlapping.
happened by the time this runs, but there's two this weekend. I think it's Supernatural and Electricon, which is the
Electricon.
Dean Devlin TV shows.
Yeah. I mean,
I want them to do like an 80s TV con, like
That would be
action
good.
adventure TV. You
That
could have
would
like
be
Knight
good.
Rider and stuff like that there.
I just
Give me
think,
Patricia McPherson.
I just think that they've really gotten this down to a science, and they know what they're doing to walk in, throw up a production on a Friday night, knock it down on Sunday night, and move on and go to it's like the circus, going from town to town. I think it's I can't say enough good things about the tech crew.
That's
that were
exactly what I was going to bring up
so
next.
good to us behind
The
the
audio people, the video people.
They were so
The
nice.
people who
behind
made
the
sure that the
scenes.
mics worked.
Yeah.
Like,
Made sure we had mics in our hands when we walked on stage. I mean, we did not want for anything. We had people, catering to
except
us.
for when that one fool didn't put the microphone close enough, and his friend Derek had to tell him.
That's just being on stage for the first time. You didn't have that trouble again.
Yeah, no, I learned,
Yeah.
and that's the thing too. Like, everything's a learning experience. So if this one was
Absolutely.
good, I can only imagine how good next year will be.
Wow.
And I think the notion that all the actors had a good time, they're going to tell the other actors, you need to come to this.
Absolutely.
I mean, maybe we'll get Eric Johnson or Sam Jones or Annette,
That would be great.
Sam Whitwer.
Go ahead and mark your calendar.
Callum Blue.
It's Callum Blue, man. I've gotten to talk to him 2 or 3 times over the years, and I absolutely adore him. I wish he would come. I think he's phenomenal.
I've said they should get your buddy Brian Austin Green on.
Well, I told him, if they had, a guests or a villains panel or something like that. I mean, these people have followings of their own, so that gets them to come as well.
Especially if he brought Tori Spelling, Linda Lake.
You've got two.
You have your
got two
Donna
villains
and
right
David
there.
panel.
Yeah, you got 2 Smallville villains right there, from 90210.
Small villains.
So go ahead and mark your calendars for September of next year in Chicago, Illinois. And if you're not already, follow Creation Entertainment. I think pretty much everywhere they are at Creation ENT, right, on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And that way you'll be the first to know as soon as the next event tickets go on sale for that, because I can't. Thankfully, one thing I loved about turning around and seeing that on the screen behind us was that it was
Uh-huh.
11 months away. We don't even have to wait a whole year. We're already
That's
in the
true.
calendar for
So we'll
it.
get that high again.
Yeah, sooner
But
rather than later.
I would recommend though that if people are planning to go, buy their tickets early. Number one, to show them that there's demand.
Mm-hmm.
Number two, the more demand there is, the more guests they'll probably get.
Mm-hmm.
But also number three, so many people are talking about having such a good time that it might sell out, and you
Yeah.
don't want to miss this.
Well, they were pretty close to it this time around. If they didn't by the day of walk-ups, I don't know, but that room was packed, absolutely packed, and you do get assigned seating. It's not general admission if you buy the higher
Which
tier
is great
levels.
because like Comic-Con, you're not guaranteed a spot
Right,
to sit and
stand in line,
watch the
and
people on
yeah,
stage,
I
and
think
like,
that's one
and
thing.
then the gold panel, which they had on Sunday morning with the whole cast,
Right,
it's a lot more intimate because it's
Right.
just the gold ticket people.
right,
So that was only the first couple of rows,
Right.
and seeing them all together, I mean, it's just kind of crazy now to me to like watch Smallville and realize, oh, I was just hanging out with almost all these people backstage.
mm-hmm.
Like,
Surreal.
it was great.
Surreal is a good word for it. Craig, you are you've got KryptonSite.com. Where can everybody find you?
Well, Krypton Site. On Instagram, it's Krypton Site Official because somebody took Krypton Site. And now that account is gone, but they won't let me register it.
Don't you hate that?
Oh, I hate it. But I also have K-Site TV, which is my general TV news site. But yeah, on Krypton Site, I'm posting Smallville articles whenever possible.
Yep.
But also the final season of Superman and Lois is on, so
That's right.
posting coverage of that. Yeah,
it's and for those of you listening that also listen to our Superman and Lois podcast, we should be back this weekend. Frank and Rob and I are about to go on vacation together, but we got to knock out some recordings first because the first two
you record in
episodes
person.
have already aired. We could, but then we're even further delayed. So we made for episode 3. We'll see.
Well, I think we should set out to do a podcast together in person.
Okay.
Chicago, if we have time.
I'm game.
Which we probably won't, but
probably not. But we can make time.
Maybe we could get a guest.
There you go. Now you're talking.
Yeah.
I like the way you think, Craig Byrne. Yes, and I also want to just because we've had so much news this week of casting, I want to plug. Is it Green Lantern TV?
I don't have that website domain anymore. I do have the Green Lantern _TV Twitter feed, though.
Okay, I know that you've been posting.
I've been posting that on K-Site TV
because obviously we've gotten some casting news there with
Aaron Pierre from Krypton is Jon Stewart.
Man, that's awesome.
It's really funny because like 2 or 3 months ago, I was just looking through Twitter and I had forgotten that I had interviewed Aaron Pierre for Krypton.
Yeah.
And it was one of my best interviews ever. Like reading it, I'm like, wow, this is really good.
Phenomenal. If you've not seen Rebel Ridge on Netflix, please check that out. It is. I literally, that movie went off and I turned around and turned it right back on and watched it again in one sitting because I was just really drawn in by him
and Kyle Chandler will be great. I loved Early Edition. I know everybody says Friday Night Lights.
No, I'm
but
a
for
huge Early Edition fan, but I love Friday Night Lights.
Except for it wasn't as good when Chuck left and Inferior Buffy came in.
But I'm excited to see him in that role. I think that's going to be phenomenal. Yeah. Not that we're talking about Green Lantern, but I just want to mention you're also posting everything.
Yeah, just keeping up with everything. I highly recommend that everybody watches The Penguin also. As far as DC stuff goes,
I'm not gonna say I wasn't looking forward to it. I just I was gonna watch it regardless, but I was like, okay, yeah. I mean, I really enjoyed the Batman, and I really enjoyed Matt Reeves.
Same.
And I thought Colin Farrell did a phenomenal job. But I that third episode, I don't know if you've watched yet.
I've not seen episode 3 yet.
Oh boy, they're doing some great things over there.
Just the layers of this character, like I don't even see that he's in a fat suit of any sort anymore.
No, I don't see Colin Farrell at all. He has disappeared into this character.
The character has so many layers. Like when Tom was talking about not having enough time to watch TV, I thought later I should have recommended that to him because it sounds like something he would have enjoyed.
You don't even have to really enjoy Batman
comic books
per se, that's per se. I mean, you get more involved in that world if you saw the movie a couple of years ago. But I think they've just done a phenomenal job with the story.
Well, at no point am I sitting there thinking, I wish Batman would show up.
No, you really don't.
Batman.
You really.
I mean, why would Batman be there? Because it's a big city.
Yeah. Well, then they make that mention crime's up 42% since the Riddler attack, so he's probably busy. Probably keeping his nights busy as it is.
Catwoman.
Well, you never know. You never
Maybe.
know. You can find us online at Smallville Podcast on Instagram and TikTok, I believe, and at Shoe Smallville on Twitter, and of course SmallvillePodcast.com. Hey, if you're listening to us for the first time, if you heard about us this weekend and you didn't know there was a Smallville podcast, you do now. And something you could do to help us out is head over to Apple Podcasts and leave us a review, or Spotify, wherever you listen. We would really appreciate that. We used to have a whole bunch of those. And then, we had that huge server crash around 2013 and lost everything and lost the website. And that was all great fun. But we rebuilt it all. And we'd love for you to head over there.
There's some great episodes in the archive. I bring up the Hex one all the time.
That's your favorite one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's my favorite one. Like, if I'm in a bad mood, I'll either listen to the Hex podcast or read the transcript of Annette's interview for my season 6 book. Both things put me in a great mood.
There's been a lot of hours recorded over the years, that is for certain, and I appreciate that. That's kind of you. But yeah, we would love it if you'd leave us a review. We don't get as many of those anymore, and I think podcast listeners today don't do that as much as they did 15 years ago. But it would mean a lot to me personally if you could do that for us. So do that. SmallvillePodcast.com online. Be looking for our episodes for. Extinction and Slumber are the next two, which I'm really excited to talk about here with Shu. And Superman TV Talk will be discussing the end and the beginning, and A World Without, the first two episodes of season 4, the final season of Superman and Lois. Craig, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for joining all of us this weekend.
Yes, and thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Doctor. We'll see you guys next time.